everyone, my name is Swayam and welcome to the first ever BSBI Student Council podcast. We have our special guest today, Dr. Sabina, who is the Vice Dean of BSBI, and we have Francisca, who is one of our Student Services Officer.
Hello everyone, my name is Taran Singh. I'm the Student Council President for the postgraduate. As Swayam currently mentioned, this is the first ever Student Council podcast. To start it light, the topic for today is how to make the best of student life when you're a student in Berlin. So let's start. Let's start with a very simple but a very powerful question for both of you. What do you think makes Berlin such a unique city for the students?
Simple question, but not very easy to answer, probably. Well, first of all, thanks for the invitation. I feel very honored because I'm very new in BSBI. So it's great advertising for the booking system that we have with Sangeeta. What makes Berlin a great city for students? I think it's a great city to explore your identity, and there's so much diversity, there's so many people from different cultures that I think it gives you the opportunity to break the mold that you were raised in and allows you to explore a little bit more and ask yourself who you are or who you want to become, I think.
Absolutely.
It has its risks a little bit because it can be maybe too much, but yeah, it's definitely a good opportunity, especially for students and the process that they're living.
Dr. Sabina?
Yes, as you said, it seems like a very easy question, right? Not so easy to answer. I think that everyone has a different answer to this, right? I would say that first, it's a capital of Germany, right? You have so many opportunities here that makes this city so great as it is. But I would say that the added value of this city, what makes it so distinctive from other capital cities and other cities where people come to work, where people come to study, is the fact that you can be whatever you want here, right? I would say that I feel sometimes that this city is maybe one of the last free cities in the world that allows people to, as you said, not just to explore their identities, right? I would say that maybe even enhance their identities and then just kind of like see where this exploration is gonna take them. This is what I really like about this city, like the variety of people that you meet, regardless if it's a business conference, is it a classroom, a campus, right? So many wonderful people, and this is what makes Berlin so great. You don't have that opportunity so much anymore. This is what I really like.
You mentioned Berlin as a free city, yeah?
Yeah.
What actually makes it so free, and why is that a good thing?
What I think that what makes Berlin free is that, as I said, you can express yourself in a way that you will not get judged by others, that you would commonly be judged, for example, in the culture that many people come from, right? So I think that this is one of the most beautiful things that makes Berlin so unique. This is why you just go outside this campus and then you will see a variety of people, so many people coming from, different regions, countries, continents, right? And we all manage to, live together and
sometimes it's even hard to find Berliners, right? Like people who were born and raised in Berlin, actually.
Yeah, I would say that even my German got worsened here.
Yes.
I don't speak German that much here in Berlin. I mean, even in this campus, the official language is English.
Yeah.
My German is really advanced, but I just feel like, you know, sometimes when I need to say something in German that I was like, hey, I was better like 2 years ago. So if you want to learn German in Berlin, yeah, think again. But you can advance your English.
Yeah. And yeah.
So if we have to cut short this conversation, it can be like Berlin is a very open and welcoming city to all of the students.
Yes, it's not just that. It's open to different, I would say, participants of society, not just for students, right? It's for everybody who, I would say, seek opportunities that they could not get elsewhere, right? So it's not just for the students, it's for variety of, as I say, different social categories. Even if we look at one sad part of Berlin is that we see a rise of homeless people, right? They're not Berliners, right? These are people that come from different parts of Germany, and they come to Berlin because they know that the city will treat them better than the place that they are coming from, right? So when you see how a city treats a very vulnerable category of society, then you can actually tell a lot about the city and the society that is in question.
I think the key word is what you said, no one is judging you. And that sometimes it's shocking when you first arrive, you noticed how much you felt judged in your home country, or how much you were like molded, as I said, by your surroundings, by your family, by your context. So it's really something very particular about Berlin. I don't know many cities, but I think it's something particular about Berlin.
Yeah, you know, when for example, when I see a homeless person and when I see that their little tents, right? I'm like, you know what? All the problems that I have in my life, that so-called problems are not problems, they're luxurious problems, right? So it kind of like also shifts your perspective or where you are in life. If you have these basic needs satisfied, right, you can just go up, right? But what I really like, as I said, is this sensibility when it comes to these vulnerable categories of society. Yeah.
Lovely.
Building on to that, I have a question, right?
Yes.
So when students first arrive in Berlin, they have a lot of problems, a lot of anxiety. Same thing for me. When I was very new to Berlin, I faced so much anxiety, so many different problems.
You have anxiety?
Yeah, when I was like freshly new, like I was 18 almost, right? And I was like super scared. I didn't know what I was doing. I needed to find a house, bank account, Anmeldung, so many different things, right?
Yes.
What do students, when they are fresh to Berlin, according to you, what should they be looking forward to? How can they reduce that anxiety? How can they reduce that stress?
I think it's very important because of the same thing that we were talking before, that it's like a city that allows you to ask yourself questions. You also need answers, right? Therefore, I think it's very important to have goals. Objectives to like look forward, to know where you're going and also why. And you need goals to make track or like follow up with what you're doing, and that allows you as well to have self-discipline. So if you have a plan, if you have a goal, you know the steps, you know what path to follow, and I think it gives you more structure and more calm as well. It lowers the anxiety a little bit.
Okay.
Anxiety comes from a position that we find ourselves in life when we don't know what awaits for us in future, right? And basically, anxiety as, you know, a lot of fears, right, that resurface, particularly when you find yourself in a new environment. they're just mind games. It's just the ego trying to keep you safe, right? Because it wants you to be, in the same place all the time, right? But just seek it as an opportunity to grow, right? Just walk through this fear, because this fear is just your mind playing tricks, right? It's like a faith. Both fear and faith require you to believe in something that you cannot see, right? So I think that this would be my advice to everybody. Do not believe in your fears, because otherwise you will get stuck. You will not become that version of yourself that you're supposed to be.
Interesting.
So I'll take this moment and do a little bit of promotion from the Student Council. A few weeks back, we had a student. She was not feeling good, and she was feeling left alone because she has no classes scheduled for like 15-20 days now. So Sangeeta got the student involved in the Student Council. Now she is feeling good, she's feeling happy. So if at all students feel they're not finding a group, not finding their tribe, please come and speak to us. Please come and speak to Sangeeta, Francisca. We are always on campus. You can find Sangeeta and Francisca on campus from 9 to 6. We are on campus. Student Lounge, our office 403. Anytime we are there. Just speak to us and get yourself involved.
Or they can book an appointment.
Of course,
Save space.
We don't need an appointment. Just
They don't need an appointment with me, but not commonly,
You can
right?
just come to
I
both
just
of us.
like, when I meet somebody, I'm like, you need something, come, right? Because if I start with a lot of appointments, then, but yeah. So it won't get me anywhere. It's my schedule is already so booked that I'm just like, this can wait for 5 minutes, this can wait for 5 minutes. If you want to make time for somebody, you will. So no excuses. Applies to all areas of your life.
But when we approached
I
you
will
for
not
the
say the
podcast,
D word.
I mean, when we approached you for the podcast, it was very difficult. I mean, honestly, I had to send emails, I had to go to you personally to the other campus.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
finally you're here, so I'm pretty happy.
Thank you. You know the when you are supposed to lead people, the only way, or be an example anywhere, you need to start with yourself. I'm really happy. I didn't even notice this. It's just how I behave. You need something, you texted me, I said come.
Yeah.
Right? I had like a full schedule, right? Insane. I had the other day student in the office, and he basically also heard part of my meeting, also 2 colleagues coming in. He was like, wow, I didn't know that, academia is so chaotic.
So the next question is for Francisca particularly, because as you are the official counselor for all of the students who are new to us, how do students avoid burnout and stay motivated during demanding semesters?
We've talked about a little bit already. So I think it's very important to have goals, long term, but also short term, so you can have wins in the process, right? But also is what you just mentioned. I think one of the difficulties students face is that they lose their social network, and not only their friends or family, but also tips or information. Like if I'm sick, I need to go to the doctor, who can I reach? Or I need a bike, who can I ask for an example, So this is very, I think for me as an immigrant as well, it was very shocking to discover that. Like I didn't know how much I needed my network, as in people just in the street, That's why to prevent burnout, I think it's very important to have a network for you to rest on. And BSBI is a very nice example of these initiatives that promote the community building and people belonging, so please reach out. There's so many groups in BSBI and clubs that can fulfill that feeling, and you can rely on them when you need help.
How important is it to make more friends than connections? There's you can distinguish, right?
Yeah.
Connections are some people that you know, right? You could probably reach out to them for specific motivated things, right? For example, I am motivated to reach out to somebody to talk to them about my personal gains, right? Or mutual gains. But then friends is different. You reach out to them just because. How important is it to make both?
Look, we are social beings, right? And we need connections. We need this, human touch. We need to have this sense of belonging, but also not at the sake of everything. First and foremost, yourself, right? So I believe that if you stop just stressing out about, connecting deeper with anybody, that this will basically come when you are ready, when you kind of like have it within yourself, when you integrated, everything that you need to integrate, and then it just happens normally. In the meantime, you can have some really exciting times with your friends, right? So I can tell from my own experience, like the people that I have surrounded myself, including this lady over here that is taking photos of me during this podcast, I will forever appreciate the laugh that we have when we are together. And I will say that, that when they see us outside in the restaurant, that they would never tell, hey, these are like 4 or 5 doctors sitting here, university professors, right? They're like so, I don't know, like everybody else, just want to have fun, right? So yeah, once this connection comes, sure, it's welcome, right? But it's not the end of the world, right? It's not your entire focus. Focus is you and your, I would say, support system where you can be, you.
I like to build on that, right?
Yeah.
To a different level. Now, I'm a new student in Berlin, for example, right? And I'm trying to make new friends. What is the best way to do it? Like, I'm not new. I've been here for 2 years, but hypothetically, right? I was a new student to Berlin, and I'm here for advice directly to you. Like, just imagine. And I'm asking, I'm not able to make new friends. I don't know what to do, because back home, it was easy. I knew people for a very long time, and that's my circle. And I'm new here. Now I don't know what to do. What advice would you give such a person?
I think you just need to show up to social events, explore, and just basically practice. If you think that you are used to knowing people already, I think you need to get like exposed to this feeling and practice and get to know people, and you will find them. You build the connection from scratch. But there's a lot of like accepting that this is a process, that it's not like instant and you're not going to have best friends immediately. Yeah. About your question before, I think it's very subjective if you rather have like a big network or like big friends. It's up to you. I have, for example, very deep connections, but only a few. Yeah. And then I have my social network. There's people also who likes to have a lot of friends. So I think you need to know yourself and practice and interact, and then you will get to know yourself a lot more from feedback. And then you'll someday just figure it out that you build something.
Yeah, I think that friendships just kind of like come naturally. Like you come to the campus and then one day you're just like, hey, I clicked with this person, right? And this is how basically you start, right? But also, I mean, a lot of different opportunities, right? Where you can meet people, at least in this city, so many events happening every day. Like my email is so booked, like with invitation, come here, come that. I basically don't go anywhere except that, you know, I feel like it's, you know, some kind of a really added value to my life. You can always explore networking apps like Breakfast, right? Don't go to dating apps. I heard that they're like, no. But like networking apps, which are not the dating apps, please distinguish this, okay? I would say that at one point when I was also new in Berlin, I also met some really, really interesting people. I removed my profile in the meantime because I'm just not into this way of knowing people over the apps, although it was just a networking app, right? But I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older, right? I'm probably, you know, like 20 years older than you. So I think that maybe also it's kind of like a generational thing that I simply do not feel that, you know, this is something for me. But yes, some really also great ways online to connect with people, right? So because in online, you know, like connecting with people, everybody always thinks about dating. It's not about dating, right? It's about meeting new people with whom you have, you know, similar values or similar interests, and then maybe explore it as a way to, I don't know, just one of the ways. Yeah. As I said, I did it myself when I came here, and then I realized that, you know, I don't need it. But yes, I am in contact with several people that I met, great professionals, amazing people. Yeah.
For me, when I came here as a new student, like 2 years back, of course I have friends in my class.
Yeah.
But then when I don't have classes, I sit in the student lounge and I talk to everyone.
Yes.
What are you studying? Where are you from?
Exactly.
Maybe a person who's sitting next to me is having a business idea, doing a startup. We never know. And after that, I go to random networking events. Randomly, I don't have any relevance. I just go to the networking events, and I have many connections now.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that students can do. If you don't have connections in the school, in the college, you can go to networking events. Use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very powerful tool. Yeah.
Like,
What do you do?
okay, so in my I'm quite a spiritual person, and this is what I've heard a lot from where I practice spirituality, is that you always make friends who are inspiring you in some way, right?
Yes.
So I'm very picky in that way. Whenever I find somebody who's actually genuinely inspirational for me, I would always like to be that person's friend. And for that, I just talk to everybody. I'm pretty much an extrovert now. I was introvert before, and I just keep talking to people randomly. If I'm in the S-Bahn, I'm just traveling, a random person sitting next to me, I would just like, hey bro, what's up? Do you want some cookies? And then, yeah, we
I
just
love
talk. And that's a good way to practice German also for me, because when I'm traveling,
know.
I'm just random person. I speak in the most broken German that ever, right?
Yeah.
And the other person's correcting me, and then we just become friends. So it's a pretty good way of doing
I like it.
Yeah.
I remember the other day, me and Swayam were just heading back home. There was a person who just told us in German, and it was a very fluent German. We couldn't decode it for like a couple of minutes, but he was concerned that we were standing next to the tracks.
Yeah.
Can you just shift inside? It's not safe for you guys. And then we started having a conversation. And like, where are you from? We are students over here. We are from India, and that's how you start a conversation. So
Yeah, I think it's about showing up and exposing yourself a little bit.
I like to move on to balance, right? Not only for new students, but for people who have been here for a while. This is my personal question as well, because it's very difficult for me and a lot of people to find the balance. I have to study, I have to learn skills. For example, German is a big thing if you're in Germany, right? You want to do something else, maybe in IT, Python, SQL, blah, blah, blah. And you also have to do academic studies, like what you have from your college. On top of that, you have to work part-time because you have to pay the rent, right? how does a student find the right balance? Because this is all needed,
Yes.
and you also want to have fun. You also want to just open Kung Fu Panda at 12 o'clock in the night and watch the whole series.
You should be sleeping. It's too late.
Damn.
Look, I am not the best person to ask about time management. I'm also like really in a position when I also need to balance a bit more. Didn't do me well by buying myself a monitor so I can work at home over weekends. So yeah, I'm also getting there. So I believe that it's also a struggle for students, how to balance the obligations that you have, and also you want to have a social life and so on. I just feel like you need to be able to say no to the things that you feel are not right for you. If your friends are, for example, even pushing you, let's go out because, I don't know, it's Friday evening, you need to set your boundary and say, look, I'm exhausted. I had a really tough week and I would just like really skip at this time, but I really look forward to that. And all good, right? Yep. So you need to like put yourself first. Like I know that it might sound like, like a cliche, like always putting yourself first, but everything in life starts and ends with you. Right? Absolutely. There is nobody in life that will come and save you or save you from your problem. It is you and only you. You can have the support system as much as you want, but at the end of the day, your life, your decisions, and what you do with your life is a result of decisions that you made, I don't know, yesterday or six months ago or 2 years ago, and so on and so on. And then you can actually see how you progress, that where you are now is the result of where you've been. So it really depends also what you want to achieve in life. Yeah. Right? So if your only desire is to, I don't know, explore clubs in Berlin, right? I'm guessing you will do that. For me, it's not a priority. For me, people get shocked when they hear that I've never been to any club in Berlin, right? Because I have other priorities. I have me, right? I have the job that I like, and I have me, and I have my friends. And I really love my life, right? So, but yeah, yes, as I said, if I don't feel like going somewhere, I just say, look, I'm today, just decided to spend my Sunday in my pajamas, right? 2 weeks ago, I received a phone call from a friend of mine here, and she was like, would you like to stop by, and because I'm making some lasagnas, and we will have some people from Croatia at my place. And I was like, look, thank you, but no thank you. Seriously, like I would really love to see you because I didn't manage to see you for like a month. But I really feel that the best for me is to stay at home and just, spend the entire day in pajama and just watch something, I don't know.
Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, yeah. Or do nothing, just clean or, like, I don't know, meditate, whatever makes you happy, right? But you need to set the boundaries. Yeah. Everything starts with setting boundaries and, doing what's good for you. So this is, I would say, a starting point, a good starting point in finding the balance, right? But also, what I also see students is stressing out a lot about, examination, and what I keep on telling them is, yes, take this time, take this opportunity, right, to elevate you further in life. This is a really unique position, like a really unique moment in your life that will more or less define where you're going to go in your life, but also like the exams and your essays and your thesis at the end of your study, it's not your life's work, right? So don't also put an additional pressure on yourself for nothing, right? Just keep things as they are. An essay at the end of the day is just an essay. A thesis at the end of the day is just a thesis. I can tell you from my own experience, right? I did the same, the mistake when I was completing my doctorate, right? My thesis was huge, my research was huge, and I could come to the same conclusion with less work, right? So I always tend to say to the students here, like, don't do my mistake, right? Just learn from my example. Just pick the topic that you feel that will be relevant for you for the next, let's say, 5 years, or maybe 10 years, right? And just do whatever it is required, do it properly, do it with honesty, do it with academic honesty, and you're good to go. But it's not your life's project. So balance also that.
Yeah.
If you are experiencing some kind of issues, look, our doors are always open. Seriously, like we all are mentoring one-to-one students all the time. It's not because we are required to, it's because we want to, right? Yeah, I really, it was a really
No,
No,
it's,
no,
it's
no.
fine. yeah.
long
No, it's a very good
monologue,
answer.
but you know, the questions you guys are asking
Yeah.
tend to feel like they're very simple, but the question of balance in life, it's a whole ecosystem,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, sorry about that.
And I completely agree with you, Dr. Sabina. Whenever we are on campus, I see you, I can ask anything, and even you are open. Hey, Taran, do you want anything? You can ask me.
Yes.
And I completely agree with that, and I'm so happy to have you as a mentor for me.
Thank you so much. I will share here in the podcast something that I tend to share with the students in the classroom and in the hallway as well, and in mentoring and so on, and also with my friends. It is something that my coach taught me, right? And she says, everybody cooks with water. So what it means is that when I go home, if I want to make spaghetti, I also need to, do it in the same way as you. So we are the same. We are, at the end of the day, humans. Just because, I had the opportunity in life, and because I'm older, that I achieved this and that, doesn't make you in any way, you or me, better than anybody else, right? So this is where it all starts, right? We are all humans, we are all equal here, and this is how I treat everybody here. And I know that this is recognized here because you cannot fake it. You can only feel it. And I would say that one of my personal achievements here is that people actually recognize this. And I also thank you both for, not just to inviting me here, but also to recognizing that you actually have somebody, from this senior academic management, that you have a person that you can actually talk to, a human with an open door. So thank you.
I mean, I genuinely like an open door policy everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I've seen, like with the senior academia, like you, Dr. Shiv. I can just always knock on your door if it's genuine concern, and come and speak to you. So it's pretty nice. And even with Francisca, whenever I see her on campus, I'm like, hello, what's up? And she's always very nice. So I think so you both were genuinely the best candidates for this podcast. I'd like to move on to the next question.
We are good. I think that we also have like some really amazing people right here. So I wouldn't grade us, I think we grade a lot here. We have a lot of
it's our time
amazing people here. So, but yes, thank you for the opportunity to be, ones who are icebreakers, so to say, to be part of this first podcast. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so moving on to the next segment of the podcast, tips for making most of student life. That's the basic thing that we have been gathered here for today. This question is particularly for you, Dr. Sabina.
Yes.
If you have to give one tip to a student who arrived in Berlin, what would it be?
Just arrived, like fresh to Berlin.
Fresh
You
from
know,
the oven.
you guys with, like simple questions that are not that easy to
Yeah.
answer. The one tip, think about in the terms that you want to accomplish in life. Ask yourself, what is the vision of life that you imagine for yourself, and what is it that you want to accomplish, and then ask yourself, like, what can I do every day to get me to where I want to go? This is what I do for myself as well. 1% per day makes a huge difference at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's 365%.
Oh.
But genuine question in that, like you say 1%, like one step at a time, right?
Yes.
And sometimes what happens is you take one step forward, 3 steps
Yes,
back.
this is how success looks like, guys. There are no shortcuts. There are no, a road to success looks like this. I mean, even when I see my life, even when I see not just my private life, but also like professional careers, I had ups and downs all the time. But the thing is that you need to like keep in mind where you want to go. How you wish to feel. What are the people that you wish to be surrounded? What is it that you want to work at the end of the day? Where is this soul that is guiding you, right? So this is why am I happy here? Because I know that in this moment of my life, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Be in the present moment.
Look, being in present moment also for me tends to be very challenging, right? Because, when you are in your 40s, you tend to like reflect what happened before, and then what steps you need to like make in order to get you where you want. But yes, commonly, not 100%, I'm still not there yet, right? And I'm also not sure that I will ever be, but that's also okay, right? Nobody's perfect. But yes, when I'm out with my friends, there is nothing, right, that I bother myself with, right? Some situations that I have in my life are not the perfect ones, right? But will I stress about it every day? No. But I will think about how to overcome this with little steps. Success doesn't come by jumping, and making these huge steps. It is everything that you do every day that will get you there. And yes, sometimes you will have to even go not just 2 steps back. For me, at one point in life, not only did I make like 2 steps back, I feel like I made like 10 steps back. But I knew that when you reach this point, right, it can only get better. So also like these steps backs that happen, they're part of life. They're part of the process how we, at the end of the day, learn as humans, right? We learn by doing. We learn by doing mistakes, right? The things that I did maybe 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years ago, it's not something that I would do today. Friendships, whatever. This person that I was, like, I don't know, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, doesn't exist anymore, right? The crucial moment is here to emphasize. What I want to emphasize is that you only need to see for yourself that you are growing every day, that everything that you do leads you to where you want to be. Even though if sometimes life requires you to take several steps back, take it and say thank you. Okay?
It's
That
like a
was really
spiral as
powerful,
well,
yeah.
no?
Yeah.
Like like development. Like you grow up and then go back up and down, but like in the end, you're here, not here, you know?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, Francisca, first of all, thank you for taking an initiative of the safe space that we have started this month. And the next question is surrounding to that only.
Yeah.
So, what are the common mental health challenges that students face, especially when studying abroad?
Well, homesick, of course. Adapting as well to the rhythm of Berlin and the bureaucracy of Germany as well. Getting focused as well, achieving your goals and building community. I think belonging, is necessary for human beings.
Yeah.
And it's a very big shock when you just arrived, when you don't have it anymore and you need to do things consciously to get it done, you know? As you said, in India you had friends, so you didn't have to try. And now you have to expose yourself and show up and do an effort, actually. For students as well, it's very hard to compatibilize all what you just mentioned. So finances, working part-time, school, finding a house, building relationships, and balancing all that is something that they really struggle with. There's so many options as well. Some of the students, it's the first time that they live alone. They have to choose everything, what to eat, the rhythm, if they show up to class or not. Like, there's so many options. I think it's very necessary for them to have a structure and a plan. A realistic one with priorities, so you know and you keep track on how you're moving forward. And that is something that when you first arrive, you don't have like the external frame that helps you a little bit. This is just you're on your own. So yeah, it requires a lot of like planning and taking goals and step by step, but also of course seeking for help.
I'd like to build on to that again. As like, I had similar question, but I would like to just add a little bit. I'd like to give you the chance to promote the Safe Space program that you've created, right? What is exactly that, and how can students benefit from it?
So it's basically the counseling that Sangeeta was providing before. Now we're 2 people now, so it's double the amount. But the main thing is that it's more organized. So we can actually give you space and a safe physical space as well to have our attention and to guide you. Counseling is not therapy. This is just guideline. So how to reach, how to do it, how to plan, what is the goal, you know, resources. Also for you to have a safe space to talk and rely on, mostly. And I'm very inspired by it. I'm very looking forward to all setting appointments with us.
Yay.
Safe space.
I think it's one of the nicest things that this school did for our students.
Yep.
Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you to Sangeeta, especially.
yeah, I know.
So, a similar question to this. For say a student is dealing with something, maybe homesickness or anything related to mental health, and the student is not comfortable speaking to someone. Maybe the thing is, people might judge me. So what advice can you give to the students who are not willing to come ahead and speak, and they can deal with them doing some simple steps? What advice can you give to the students?
So you mean like for them to reach out, or what can they do on their own?
On their own, there might be a situation a student is not comfortable coming and speaking out their problems.
Okay.
Thinking, if I go to a counselor, what might the society think about me? So what are the easy steps a student can do just being by themselves?
So I think the first step is to acknowledge sometimes that the situation is overwhelming, or how you're feeling, that you're overwhelmed. Organize yourself as well. I mean, it's challenging because students have a lot of things to do, but they need to find space to take care of themselves. They need to find time for making sports, hopefully to meditate, to have recreational activities, to socialize. That is a human basic need. So yeah, sadly, I think that seeking help is sometimes necessary. You know, you can do so much on your own, and it's very nice that you have your own resources, but you also need to acknowledge when it's time to look for help. And know that in BSBI, as I said, in Berlin, but also in BSBI, there is no judging. It's so much healthier to look for help and have therapy.
Yeah.
And that's something that hopefully we want to change. That's why we had like the Mental Health Awareness Week a couple of weeks ago. We want to normalize seeking help, and going to therapy and counseling is so much healthier to know what you're going through and look for help and reaching out. Just instead of like ignoring it and put it on your shoulders.
I can tell you something that the moment when you feel like you need some kind of a support and then you reach out, it's really nice. But I will tell you the other side of the story, that what we as academics often see is that we see a really good student like not engaging at all, and that you feel like there is something going on, right? Because for not just for me, but for a lot of people here, these students are not students. You know, they're, as I said, they're human beings, and everybody has their own story here. So just let us be have more empathy, right, towards each other. And I will tell you, I had several examples when I detected a student struggling with something. You know, they became quiet. You know, it's just, you see that something is off, right? And then I would normally approach them and ask them if they're okay. And sometimes they want to say something, sometimes they're not. But commonly what I do also is do this one-to-one mentoring. I have a human-to-human conversation, right? I had one student from Turkey who was struggling. He was basically struggling how to find his way in Berlin and how to get the internship and so on. So I worked with him, you know, I polished even his CV. I told him where to apply and so on and so on. I had another student who had, whose dad died, right? So these are situations that we are facing here. It's not the number, it's not a student number, it's not so many students, or you know how in marketing we call them, you know, customers or consumers, right? They're people with, you know, issues that are happening every day, right? And I believe that we are here responsible to detect when something is off, when something is, you know, not okay, and to see how we can help them. And I help students in many ways that you guys will never know. I will just keep it for myself because I think it's very respectful, right? But I help them in many, many ways without anybody knowing that I help them, and this is, you know, something that I do that I feel that sits really well, you know, in my heart and in my soul, in my, you know, entire being.
That is what is great about community. You know, we got each other back. So as the more active you are, the more you are aware of everyone. So we help each other. We notice, we recognize, oh, this student is changed. He wasn't like this. What is happening? I'm going to reach out, you know. That's why it's so much efficient to have a strong community in order to prevent mental health issues.
It's pretty nice. I think so. We are done with our questions, right? I checked online. It's just positive comments, not really questions. So I'm going to open it up to the audience that we have. Does anybody have any questions for either Dr. Sabina or Francisca? Srishti?
Once in a lifetime.
Wow. Well,
Also, a small promotion again.
yeah.
If you're dealing with stress, anxiety, anything, we have Francisca,
Yes.
Safe Space, the person who builds Safe Space. Also, if you don't want to deal
Sangeeta
with,
did. I'm sorry. Sangeeta did. I just helped her. She was, yeah, Sangeeta did.
if you want to just release your stress, we have yoga club, sports club, dance club, debate, arts. We have
Yes, please
multiple clubs.
join.
Feel free to join. It's completely free.
Yeah. And we have the Multicultural Festival on this Thursday on campus. There's going to be dance performances, singing performances. We have multiple stalls from different countries of origin selling food, snacks, novelty items, merchandise. So you all are welcome to come on campus and really enjoy the day.
We have a question from our professor.
Oh, great.
Thank you very much for this event. And from your experience, can I ask you, are there any final advices, final words for maybe you students who are going to join BSBI for their experience? Any final words?
I'm not sure I heard the question properly. Do we have a mic for
You said advice?
Claudio? No?
No, I'm just asking if there's any, are there any final words, final advices for new students who will join BSBI from your experience?
The advice?
Yes, any final words, final advice?
You know, as I think I addressed this pretty well when you asked me, well, like, what would be that one advice that I would give to any student, but I would say that also to any human, right? As I say, just think about that every step that you make every day leads you to the life that you're happy, satisfied, fulfilled, right? And take the setbacks also as part of the process and say thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you so much.
So, you have anything to add?
Can I also add to the new students? It says over there, you're welcome, right? Like there's a big community waiting for you to join. So yeah, you're welcome.
How many nationalities? Officially 100 and
100 plus.
120.
100
no,
plus.
It's
So,
129.
yeah. I also didn't know that I have a fellow colleague from Croatia here. So yeah, we spoke in English, and then I mentioned something about Croatia. She's like, "Are you one of us?" I'm like, "Yeah." So you never know.
So
It's
now
really
you have
great.
someone from Croatia.
Hey, what?
So now you have someone from your
Yes,
country, Croatia.
yes. I also have a colleague from Bosnia as well. I also have colleagues from North Macedonia. So we all, because we come from the same region, right? We understand each other well. So sometimes it feels good not to speak, you know, English or German, just to, you know, speak in your own native language. So that's also nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
So,
very much for
Yeah, we
having us.
wind up
Thank
for the first Student Council podcast. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you
online
so
people.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for organizing this. I really had a
Thank you
great
so
time.
much for being our
Yeah.
guest.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.